Sunday morning, San Lucas, Toliman. The faithful gather for Mass. A community of faith gathers, strengthened by their work in a most extraordinary mission.
Espíritu de Dios.
In April 1964, Father Greg Schaffer arrived in San Lucas, Toliman, on the shores of Lake Atitlan. He was assigned to serve as a parish priest in San Lucas for a period of 5 years, out of the Diocese of New Ulm, Minnesota.
When I came, I was no way whatsoever prepared for crossing cultures or working in what we call commonly mission. I'm a diocesan priest from a small Midwest rural diocese. That was what I was ordained for, and that's what I had planned to live out my life in.
Rod Foley was a Peace Corps volunteer in Guatemala from 1963 through 1965.
I guess Father was at a quandary what to do, what kind of projects. There was so much to do, and what should he put his efforts into. One of his first efforts was he was going to have a project where he would build small homes and supply them with 6 chickens and a few rabbits and possibly down the road a pig or 2.
In learning about the richness of the Mayan people that he had come to serve, Father Greg realized that he had a formidable task before him. He needed to address the immediate concerns of malnutrition.
We got involved in it beginning with Chona, who is now the head cook there. She was just a 12-year-old, and Father had started a milk program where he would give a milk drink to the pregnant and lactating mothers and the youngsters under maybe 7 or 8 years old. But they didn't have enough money to buy the powdered milk and the sugar and things like that, so I got involved and I was able to get some powdered milk from CARE.
Father Greg knew that he must do more than simply feed the people. He needed to address the long-term causes of poverty.
As I went up to visit, he'd say, we just started this group of master carpenters teaching these 3 or 4 young boys how to be a carpenter, and then the Mason project started because of the convents.
The apprentice programs trained local men in the highly skilled trades of carpentry and stonemasonry. The mission began to build an infrastructure to alleviate the effects of extreme poverty and provide much-needed economic stimulus to the community. This program was the foundation upon which all subsequent efforts of the community were built. The hands of the workers built the school that nurtured the minds of the children, the hospital which cared for the sick, and the dying, the homes in which families could gather. All this proceeded from a desire to enhance and enrich the whole person. With the arrival of the School Sisters of Notre Dame in 1964 and Father John Goggin in 1967, the mission was now staffed to serve the people. In 1968, La Escuela Parroquial, or the parish school, opened. The school has a focus on primary education and currently serves over 600 children. As a result, the literacy rate jumped from 3% in the early 1960s to over 85% today. The vibrant spirit of the school is captured in a CD, Liberación, a collection of songs evocative of the children's close relationship with their God. In collaboration with the Christian Foundation for Children and Aging, a Catholic child sponsorship program, the family of Daniel Mauser raised funds in honor of their son who was killed in the Columbine massacre. Their efforts resulted in the construction of a 3-story library in San Lucas, breathing new life into the community. As Father Greg articulates, the impact of the mission on the quality of education in the community cannot be understated.
But just here in this, what we would call municipality, probably the word in English would be county. Mm-hmm. When we came, there was one school between 80 and 100 kids. Now, where there was one elementary school, there are 17 in that same area. There was no secondary school, none whatsoever. There are now 7. Mm-hmm. There was no continued education school. There are now 4. And there's even weekend opportunity for certain courses at university level. Obviously, the need for medical help. Well, you got to have a little bit more than aspirin when you got a headache. You're going to be dealing with all the medical needs of the people.
Since the 1960s, the mission has operated a small medical clinic, but in the late 1980s, the mission realized that a more modern facility was needed. Pablo Benedicto manages the new hospital.
En el año 1990 comenzaron a construir este hospital y gracias a Dios en 10 años terminaron de construirlo. Le agradecemos mucho a Dios, a Padre Gregorio y a todos los buenos americanos y voluntarios que han venido a trabajar en el hospital. A ellos les agradecemos todo lo que tenemos aquí respecto de salud.
The huge clinic now that we do have in its head, it's big, 47 beds, 2 floors, complete dental service, office, complete dental office, 3 chairs, even dental x-ray. And now the big clinic area, the medical clinic area, with a fine emergency area and a special place for women having difficulty with births.
Doctors and dentists and the services provided directly to the community and by the exchange of ideas facilitated with their colleagues from abroad. Collaboration is what makes the clinic work. When Father John Goggin traveled to the surrounding communities within the purview of the mission, he would take along basic medicine like aspirins and eye drops to share with the people. He realized more of ideas facilitated with their colleagues from abroad. Collaboration is what makes the clinic work. When Father John Goggin traveled to the surrounding communities within the purview of the mission, he would take along basic medicine like aspirins and eye drops to share with the people. He realized more needed to be done. The mission trains volunteers like Federico and Genaro to serve as community healthcare workers. These workers serve as primary caregivers to remote communities. The volunteers also work with visiting medical teams to provide much-needed care to these communities. Visiting doctors and dentists set up makeshift examining rooms to provide basic medical care.
coffee effort is using a high quality coffee, that we pay to the producer what the producer says he or she has to have for their best, which turns out to be 2 to 3 times as much as they would get on the world free market. And then we process it with them so we can make it available to the consumer the way the consumer is usually going to buy.
Coffee is harvested from the rich, volcanic soils surrounding Lake Atitlan. Miguel Hernandez works on the coffee project.
La gente viene de la montaña trayendo su café y allá arriba en la desculpadora, allá se desculpa el café, se le deja 2 o 3 noches en la pila para fermentación y muy luego se lava el café y al lavar se acarrea en costales, se tira en el patio para que lleve 8 o 9 días de sol.
Once the coffee beans are dry, it is prepared for roasting. The beans are roasted for 90 minutes over an open fire fueled by coffee bean stalks and specially selected wood, which reinforces the rich flavor of the beans. The roasting process used to be done by hand, but with a little ingenuity and a workman's pride, 2 barrels full of beans can now be roasted simultaneously. After roasting, the beans are placed on a cooling tray in preparation for packaging, either as a whole bean or ground product. A full 17 ounces of coffee is vacuum sealed, packaged, and boxed for shipment. Coffee is shipped for sale to churches, universities, organizations, and to individuals throughout the United States.
We have 527 families as of this past year, and there were somewhat over 2 million quetzales just to the producers of coffee, not counting the processing and packaging and shipping.
Gracias por ustedes, porque de todos modos sin ustedes también nosotros no tenemos trabajo, porque sabemos que la exportación de café tal vez no le deja gran cosas al padre como lucrativo, pero se está poniendo en alto, Padre Gregorio, en el trabajo, en el café.
And that's the struggle. Not only because we want the consumer to have a high quality product, but we want the pride in the producer. And frankly, I would say that would be more important for me. Since we're in the mountains, we have to be involved in reforestation to hold the land in place as well as to transpire water for rain. We need wood very badly. Wood is a very important commodity in this country, not only for lumber, but also for firewood, the main source of combustible for our people in preparation of their foods.
Toribio Chahil runs the program.
El año 80-82 hubo un voluntario donde trabajó para nosotros aquí en San Lucas. Él habló con la gente, vio que en la ciudad que Guatemala, solo con el nombre del país Guatemala significa tierra de árboles. Entonces el Señor se dedicó mucho más a escoger una buena semilla. Y donde estamos es el área donde nosotros podemos, el proceso de semilla.
The Reforestation program focuses on raising strong seed stock, mostly from cypress trees.
Aquí tenemos el área del vivero, donde plantamos la semilla. La semilla de ciprés se prepara en un semillero, donde trasplantamos en bolsa.
Small trees are planted throughout the country. The mission plants over 50,000 trees every year throughout Guatemala. Through the efforts of the mission, valuable arable land is reclaimed and protected from the devastating effects of erosion. Furthermore, this husbandry of timber provides fuel and building materials over time in a managed, renewable fashion. The struggle for land remains the greatest obstacle to overcoming poverty in Guatemala. Andres Chihil works with the San Lucas Development Association.
En Guatemala es tan lindo, pero también hay un problema social. Uno de los problemas más grandes social de Guatemala es la tierra.
The mission created the San Lucas Development Association in response to the people's interest in obtaining their own land to farm.
When the people made it quite clear that their interest, most of all, was helping them get land so they could produce their own food, then the focus was a little bit more or at what the people themselves saw as their future.
Using an inheritance received from his parents, Father Greg purchased land at the southern edge of town to begin an experimental farm and education center. The mission also founded the San Lucas Development Program to assist families in the purchase of land. The mission studied the optimal amount of land that a family would need to provide for itself and earn money with a small cash crop.
There have been 3,700 families we've been able to help with up to about 3 acres apiece. That's what the basic need is for a particular family. 2 of those acres in the basic food of corn, beans, and squash, and 1 into this high-quality coffee.
The association decided to exploit the available land on the adjacent mountain for production. Although this meant that the people would have to travel for as long as 2 hours into the mountains to tend their own fields and chop their own wood, it does not diminish the pride and joy they feel in working on land that they call their own. The association has also helped entire communities of displaced families find land.
We have been involved in not only the small pieces and individual pieces and partial of plantations, but we have purchased 4 complete plantations and divided up amongst the people.
The association relocated the communities of El Porvenir, Tierra Santa, and Totoila following a devastating mudslide in 2002, in which 37 people lost their lives. In an unprecedented collaboration with the government, the association obtained funding for new homes, electricity, potable water, schools, and roads, all within walking distance of their farmlands. On September 7, 2005, the 3 communities joined in celebration to inaugurate their new homes. The people welcomed a visit from President Oscar Berher and other important dignitaries. The struggle continues.
En octubre del año pasado, que es decir, en el año 2005, el 5 de octubre un deslave con el huracán Stan. Cientos de quintales de piedra y tierra sobre esta gente y estaban sujetos a la muerte. Gracias a Dios que fue de día. Si fuera de noche se muere. Entonces se pudieron rescatarse con otros colaboradores, se rescató. Ahora la iglesia dio esta oportunidad, que la iglesia tiene esta tierra para esta gente.
Through the Development Association's efforts to help the people gain control of their destiny, they are leaving the life of the fincas behind and embracing the dignity of life in freedom.
Fincas es una persona que domina, dirija y todo es el dueño. Él es el dueño y la gente maya son los esclavos. Estas son comunidades ya, los trabajos sociales o la doctrina social de la iglesia. Estas son fincas, estas son comunidades. Quiere decir que aquí es esclavo, aquí son libres la comunidad. Es la teología de la liberación, es la revolución pacífica de la iglesia.
The mission of San Lucas Toliman continues to enrich the spiritual and material lives of the people. It develops new projects, like the Women's Center, to provide facilities and resources where women can gather for educational and recreational activities, including weaving their colorful weep heels and earning additional income by learning marketable trades, like sewing, with the help of groups led by Bob Rockford of Kansas City. The CFCA calls the mission of San Lucas Toliman a model mission in its collaboration with the people. Founder Bob Henson established a visitor center in San Lucas on land provided by the San Lucas Development Association and in buildings built by the parish stonemasons and carpenters. This collaboration provides hope for the people of San Lucas.
Gracias a nuestro Dios que está en el cielo y gracias al Padre Gregorio por tener este proyecto, porque estamos necesitados de trabajo.
And thank you to the many visitors and volunteers who walked with the Guatemalan people. Your efforts have provided many blessings to the community of San Lucas.
Pero aquí la iglesia en San Lucas, Toliman, nos da la oportunidad de tener una cultura de servicio. En mi opinión, muy importante para el mundo. Debemos de hermanarnos más. Pero solo nosotros lo creo difícil. Con amigos, con más amigas, es posible.
I think we're ready today, quite definitely, for the Guatemalan people who have been involved in this for many, many years, and some who have been involved less years, to really assume the responsibility and the decision-making in making this program something that not only is firm, Guatemalan, but can continue.
It is in the spirit of journeying together that we all recognize the fullness of God's love.
Yo siento, Señor, que tú me amas. Yo siento, Señor, que te puedo amar. Háblame, Señor, que tu siervo escucha. ¿Qué quieres de mí? Señor, tú has sido grande para mí. En el desierto de mi vida, háblame. Yo quiero estar dispuesto a todo. Toma mi ser, mi corazón es para ti. Por eso canto tus maravillas, por eso canto tu amor. Por eso canto tus maravillas, por eso canto tu amor.